Welcome to JLT. I'm your host, Miss T. We're going to get started in about 10 minutes. So, right now, we're chilling and vibing. So, sit back and relax and enjoy the music. And we'll get started in our first segment. Yeah. Okay. All right. Welcome. And don't forget to like the live. Yeah. And subscribe. Thank you.
I know that I'm a handful. 가끔은 정말 미안해. Even I don't get myself sometimes. 용서해줘 내가 믿다면. 현명하잖아. I just want the best for us. 널 사랑해서 너무 불안해. 나 절대로 놓지 말아줘. Oh baby. We break up and make up. 그만해 이런 다툼. 과거던 효과 괜찮아지니까. We just get back. 그렇지 않게 baby. Oh, I don't wanna lose you but oh, 사실은 난 무서워. 널 잃을까봐. 원하면 떠날 수도 내가 작아져. Break up, make up. We break up, make up.
Yes, welcome to the live. Right now, we're just chilling and vibing. This is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T, and we're gonna get started about 5 more minutes. So just sit back and relax. Don't forget to like the video, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Is facing legal trouble. The 36-year-old was arrested in Manchester, UK, according to TMZ, citing law enforcement sources in the early hours of May 15th over an alleged bottle attack that occurred in a London nightclub 2 years ago. According to The Independent, Brown was detained by Metropolitan Police at the Lowry Hotel hours after he'd arrived in the city on a private jet. Metropolitan Police shares with The Independent, quote, a 36-year-old man was arrested at a hotel in Manchester shortly after 2 a.m. on Thursday, May 15th, on suspicion of grievous bodily harm. He has been taken into custody where he remains. The statement also continued, quote, the arrest relates to an incident at a venue in Hanover Square on February 19th, 2023. E-News has reached out to reps for Chris as well as local police for comment, but has not yet heard back. In 2023, music producer Abe Dia accused Chris, who is scheduled to perform 10 shows in Britain as part of his upcoming world tour, of an unprovoked attack at Mayfair's Tape nightclub around 3 a.m., during which Chris allegedly struck Abe with a bottle and punched and kicked him. Abe tells The Sun, quote, he hit me over the head 2 or 3 times. My knee collapsed as well. According to the outlet, Abe was taken to the hospital and required crutches after he was discharged. In the wake of the alleged altercation, Abe filed a lawsuit in 2023 against Chris for 16 million or 12 million pounds in damages for injuries and losses suffered. Chris has not responded publicly to Abe's claims or lawsuit. Following Chris's arrest, an attorney representing Abe in the lawsuit spoke out. He tells TMZ, quote, we are pursuing all legal remedies to hold him accountable. At this time, we will let the facts speak for themselves through the proper legal channels.
Yes. So welcome back. Yes, that was a video about our boy Chris Brown. Just a quick little preview, discuss to give you some background on what we're gonna talk about today or tonight. Yeah, I am a big Chris Brown's fan. Love his music, love his dance. I think he's definitely one of a kind, very talented young man. Um, but I will say, I'm shocked but not shocked about everything that just broke out. Then again, I'm kind of shocked because honestly, I was thinking to myself, well, surely, thinking we're past this. In fact, I was talking to someone the other day thinking, oh, we're past all this. And, I heard other people talking that they're going to go to his concert. And one lady was just saying how, people, we don't know him, but he does have fans. And she was just expressing how she looked up to him because he had changed his life and he was such a good dad to his kids and all that kind of stuff. And again, this is just me talking to another fan. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, yeah, he has changed over and he's not, doesn't sound like he's violent anymore. And he's, this, that, and the third. And, he went through all that stuff with Rihanna. And he's had multiple altercations over the years. So clearly anger is an issue. And I know he's been through anger management, I believe so, allegedly, but I think I actually read that somewhere. But here we are, because this wasn't long ago. This was just back in this last incident was back in 2023. So here we are again talking about Chris Brown, who's in the spotlight, but as we can see, not because of his music, right? So yeah, looks like um he apparently hit someone well, he's a producer. His name is Abe. He hit him over the head apparently with a bottle of some sort because they were at a club or whatever. I have questions like I always do. And my question is, what was Chris so angry about that he decided to hit him? And what were they arguing about? I looked through the news reports and things like that, and I couldn't really find out exactly what they were arguing about. They just said they had an altercation, and apparently Abe obviously reported him. And then I have questions for Chris. Okay. My question for Chris is, why did you didn't know you had a warrant out for your arrest? Because Abe filed this back last year. So it's like last year he filed it. So I don't know how Chris didn't know. Obviously went out on tour, he was working in the UK, and as the report says, he got picked up. So how did he know? I don't know why he didn't know that. And what was that about? I don't know. At that point, I have questions for him. And doesn't he have a PR team or someone that's looking out for him? I think that part, not condoning his behavior if these things are true, but then you have someone that that checks all these things out. Like he didn't know, especially with his background, his history of violence and all the things. All right, okay. But anyway, like I said, I am absolutely a super duper fan of Chris's. And the question comes down: can we separate the man from the music? Is basically the question of the night. This is pertaining to both of the artists that I'm going to talk about, but particularly Chris Brown, because again, I am a fan. Not to be repetitive, but that I am, right? And so, can we separate it? I think I can, but he has to be careful because I mean, this has been going on for so long, and honestly, Chris is, if you think about it, Chris is to me is blessed, and what I mean by that is a lot of times when artists go through these type of things, have a history of violence or whatever their issue is, sometimes it can literally destroy their careers, right? And people won't buy their music and their fans. They have fans, but it can just totally destroy their entire thing. And one example comes to mind is R. Kelly. Now the thing about he's definitely not R. Kelly, okay? So don't be like, girl, fans don't come for me. He's not R. Kelly, but I'm saying like as far as getting into trouble with the law and all of that part. But then again, Chris has been able to get out of it, right? He's been able to get out, bail out, and get a little tap on the hand here and there. But as the way he's going, I don't know, and I'm hoping like this it? Like, are we going to hear anything else? So anyway, but the point of it is he still has his career so far. Because right now I think he's on tour. Well, I know he's on tour because I know people will just purchase tickets. So yeah, and I hope that this is part of his past, and that incident that happened that we're talking about. I hope that was it because he's paying the price for his actions. I hope that was it, and I really hope Chris really has gotten some help. I know they said he has gotten help, but this doesn't say that he has. Like, what happened in 2023 that he lashed out again? And then I have other questions. Like, is it related to him drinking? Is he drinking and can't control himself? Like, what's going on, Chris? This is a fan. I'm fussing. I'm kind of fussing a little bit because, again, like I said, I do like him, and so he does appear. I don't know for sure. I don't know him. I don't know him from he's just a guy, but um, he appears to be a good dad. So anyway, so the bottom line again goes back to the same question from the I'm sorry, looks like you couldn't even hear me. So let me start over. Oh my goodness. Anyway, looks like I muted myself, but the whole point of it is I was just saying, can we separate the man from the music is what I was saying. Sorry, I got to definitely anyway, I had myself muted. That was cute, right? But anyway, so anyway, the point was, can you separate the man from the music? And I was just saying Chris Brown has been in a lot of trouble over the years. I mean, for my first thing, I think for me was when he was with Rihanna and they went to court and gave him this, I think they gave him like probation. and the judge said, "Hey, stay away from Rihanna," I think for like 5 years or so, and I'm sure he had to pay some fines and things of that nature. And I think everyone probably thought, "Oh, this is probably the last of this," but no, 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 no. Happened again, then it happened again with something else, and again and again. It doesn't matter if it's a man or woman. He just has a tendency. He has clearly has anger issues. I mean, I don't. It doesn't seem like he has them, but he clearly has. Right? He doesn't take. He doesn't take much to get him going. Right? But anyway, like I was stating when I had myself muted, is that I am a huge fan, and I know other people are fans that are around me. And my coworker, actually one of my coworkers, was just saying how she was so proud of him because he turned his life around from running into being in trouble with the law and all this and the other. And it seemed like he was being a good dad to his kids. So she was proud of him. So she purchased tickets like, we don't know these people, but that's what another fan, right? And she just said that. I just heard her say that the other day, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, he has turned his life around. Yeah, kudos to Chris. He's doing well, and that's great. And then here we go with this, another one. I'm like, here we go. So the gist of it all really comes back to the same question. And well, I have other questions before I say that. I just kind of have to repeat it because I already said it. Is did he not know that he had a warrant out already in the UK? Does Chris not have a PR team or somebody who looks into all of that and makes sure he's good before he gets out on the road? Especially with his history. Like no one checked any of these things. He didn't know. Like this to me, those are the questions I have. I'm sure he has a team in place, so that's one question. Okay, not saying whether he did or didn't do whatever they're accusing him of doing, but there should have been a record of something. Someone should have notified Chris. I couldn't imagine to say, "Hey, you have a warrant out" or whatever in the UK. I mean, just to me, I don't know. I feel like why didn't he know? That's my question. And why didn't they tell him? Okay. And then the other question, and I didn't really find this in the report. I read through the reports, I listened to the reports, is the altercation. Maybe I'm nosy. I don't know. My question is exactly what was he pissed off about that he allegedly hit this person over with a drink, some type of drink he was drinking, a glass bottle or whatever. What was he so pissed off about? You know what I'm saying? Was it the alcohol that made him do it? And then why? Like, why was he so mad? What's up with that? I have questions for him. And also, does drinking is this because he's drinking? Like, stop drinking. I'm not trying to be funny, for real, for real. If it's gonna have you, if that tequila, that Don Julio, okay, 1942, is gonna have you popping, kicking, and punching people, you need to leave it alone, right? You need to lay it down, leave it on the table. Anyway, I'm being funny, but it's not funny, but it is funny, right? Sounds like the person he hit is okay, and he's the one that filed the charges. And the thing of it is, like I said, it's a blessing that no one has gotten. People have gotten hurt, but he's blessed. No one has gotten offed, unalived, however you want to say it, because we have to say it that way because of YouTube. I'm not just speaking bad English. But yeah, he's lucky, right, that hasn't happened. But anyway, my biggest thing for me is comes back down to the same question: can we separate the man from the music? I think to a certain extent we can. We only can go so far. Now, if this continues and he lands himself in deeper trouble, and I hope he does not, where he can't get out of it, then I would say that he may end up he could possibly really jack up his career. Yeah, then we may have a problem. For now, honestly, I think that most fans, most people are still going to entertain him. They're going to still buy his tickets. So right now, I would say he's probably okay. I think so. Basically, yes, we're separating the man from his problems, pretty much. From his excuse me, the man from his music because we appreciate his music. And let's be very clear about it. Chris is top notch when it comes to entertainment and dancing and singing. Chris is top notch. Absolutely. His performance is outstanding. I'm not gonna lie. I really do enjoy watching him and his vocals is on point. Okay. And there's not many artists that can do all of the things that he does on stage. I gotta give it to him. And the biggest thing is I hope he doesn't sabotage it with all of these legal issues if he could just let these things go, and unfortunately, it sounds like it's kinda like you get in one thing, get another thing, and it just keeps following him, and so he's gonna have to figure out how to break away from it, and maybe he's trying to break away from it. Maybe it's one of those things that, happened 2 years ago, and he's been chilling, but he still has to deal with the consequences of what occurred back in 2023. Because again, these are allegations, so I can't say what he did or didn't do. I only can say what he's being accused of. But anyway, that's my gist on that. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you listen to the replay, let me know what you think about the whole thing. Can we separate the man from the music? I say right now, so far we can. We have room to do so because he's locked up right now. I don't think they let him out yet, but I think he's gonna get out. I believe he's gonna get out. I don't know what's gonna happen to him, but I imagine he has enough money and attorneys to get out of this, I believe. Maybe he'll have to pay him off. I don't know, but I think he'll get out. That's the gist of it. And then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna start rambling because I can go on and on about Chris Brown. Absolutely, I can. Because again, like I said, I'm a great fan of his. I really do like this young man, his work. But so far, my answer to the question is yes. Right now, I can separate the man from his mess. Okay, all right, all righty. Well, we're gonna go back, chill, and vibe for a few more minutes, and then we're gonna come back to our second segment. And I'm gonna make sure I'm unmuted so you can hear me. Okay, and we're going to talk about Tory Lanez and all the shenanigans and all the drama surrounded around his recent drama or recent issues. Anyway, I'll be right back. So sit tight, chill out, vibe. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share all the things. Okay, this is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T, and thank you for listening. I'll be right back. Thank you. Yes, this is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. If you're just joining, welcome to the live, and we're gonna start the next segment in like 5 minutes. Yeah, so I think you probably saw the thumbnail, who we're gonna talk about next. We just finished talking about we just finished speaking or talking about Chris Brown, and now we're gonna talk about a little Tory Lanez news, okay? So we're gonna get into that. So stay tuned, keep vibing, be sure to like the video, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Sorry, back in the late 90s, my wife and I stayed in a hotel across the river in Northern Virginia. I was up praying before that conference that I was supposed to speak at that evening. As I paced back and forth in my hotel suite praying, I began to quote the scripture from 2 Peter chapter 1, and it states, "For you will do well to take heed as unto a light shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the day star arises in your heart." I didn't know whether it was a boy or girl in my late wife's womb, but I heard the Holy Spirit said to me, "That is the name of your child. That's why he bears that name today."
Now we're standing in the United States of America, land of the free and the home of the brave. I have watched from afar, being a Canadian. I have watched as presidents innumerable and other officials place their hand on the Bible and swear a sacred oath to uphold justice, to uphold truth, because that's what justice demands. So before I go any further, based on a courtroom that I stood in 508 days or so ago and heard my son convicted, is a court in the federal reality of things.
I want to stop right there for just a second to interrupt, but just wanted to make sure we're talking about Tory Lanez, but right now this is his dad speaking on his behalf, and they've began a petition to try to get him out and get him free. So his dad is speaking basically to the press. And if you haven't noticed, if you haven't picked up on it yet, his dad is definitely a minister. Okay, I wish I had the clip when Tory was first went to jail. His dad was a very passionate at that time. Not to make light of, but just very passionate. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm gonna let him finish what he has to say about Tory and all the things, and then I'll come back with my commentary. It's not too long, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay. Thank you for listening.
That also holds the Bible higher than judges. And so I'm going to pray a very short prayer before I get started here today. I'm going to pray that in the spirit of when Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, stood before Pontius Pilate. Pontius said, "Why do you not speak? Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you or to let you go free?" It was only one of the times that Jesus ever spoke. He said, "You would not have power over me unless God Almighty gave it to you today. And I have come to bear witness of the truth." Upon which Pontius Pilate replied, "What is truth?" That question was never answered in Pilate's judgment hall. But I answer it for you today because Jesus Christ himself told us what the truth was. Truth is not a philosophy. It's not an ideology. It's not a doctrine. And it certainly is not a religion. Truth is a person. His name is Jesus Christ, who said, "I am the way, the truth that leads you to life." Father, upon the basis of your word today that this nation was founded upon, I ask that every ear that needs to be opened, including the ear of the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, I'm even asking today that in the midst of Mr. Trump's busy schedule as president of the United States, that this would come into his hearing. And so, Father, I ask you today, by your Spirit, because you're the only reason why my son is yet alive, have your way and let this be glorifying your name. I thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. So my name is Sunstar Carlisle Peterson. I come to you today in the capacity of an apostle of Jesus Christ. A word from the first century in our times, it would simply mean ambassador of Christ. So when I stand before you, I don't stand here to speak my own words. I represent the kingdom, and I am under authority to speak only what God allows. First and foremost, I really do want to thank you again, the press corps, and all of you who have vlogs and channels on YouTube or wherever you stream from.
Okay, I'm going to continue. I have to jump in and give my couple thoughts before I even give my commentary. But yeah, take note of the glasses, take note of the gear, take note of One thing I would say about Tory and his dad is that they always bring the noise as far as their clothes and their attire. They always look nice. And shockingly enough, the only thing I do see that kind of it's different. It's not even an insult or anything a judge. I'm not even judging him, but like his earrings, like I'm surprised to see both of his ears pierced. And but anyway, I do love the glasses and then the suit and everything's like coordinated. I know you like T, why you have to say all that? Well, I wanted to put my 2 3 cents in it. Tori and his dad can really dress. Okay, let's be very clear about it. I know that's not important, but it is important because I wanted to I wanted to share that. But anyway, let's continue. Let's continue. All right, let me go.
Thank you so much for being here. I would like to thank, in fact, all of those who identify with the name Umbrella as one umbrella. It was actually launched so that my family would not just be the ones benefiting from whatever fame or fortune, but so that all people, always, anywhere that need a shelter could come under that umbrella. That's the reason why it was launched by Daystar's brother initially, who is known as Wolfgang Peterson. So I thank all of you who have always been an encouragement to us, who have stood with us. Those of you standing here today with Free Tory t-shirts.
Let's fast forward a little bit, okay?
To be silent. And now we've been silent for way too long. The hour demands that we speak. One of the reasons why I stood silent is because I trusted in God, but I also did not want any blowback to affect my son, who was sitting in the belly of the beast. That's why I chose not to speak at that time. I am his father, and that is the second capacity in which I stand before you today as the spokesperson and mouthpiece for my family. Tory has 7 brothers and sisters. He has 5 brothers. He makes up the 5, I'm sorry.
It's a big family.
There are 3 sisters. So today I would like to share a few things with you as well. I want to dispel a few rumors because I've been asked to by my son, Daystar, aka Tory Lanez. Number one, Daystar does not have a drinking problem.
Okay.
He does not have a drinking problem, and that was not the reason why this situation happened. He was not out on the yard as it was about 6:30 in the morning, and cells were just opened for them to be able to go out to breakfast. On the Thursday prior to this incident, I was called by him, and I was told of the impending threat. And my family and I huddled and did what we always do. We prayed. We get together every single day and we pray. Sometimes it is twice per day. Wherever we are in the world, at a certain time, we're on our phones and we are praying.
Okay.
We pray for him. We pray for you. Because our mandate is not about violence. We're not here for vendetta. We're not here for any of those things. My son, as I stood with him in the hospital room on the first day, my wife being present, said, "Dad, I'm not holding any animosity against this guy. I don't want to take any action against him. Whatever the system does, the system does. But that is his stance, and that is our stance." Might I go a little bit further? Because this will not be the first time I've said this publicly. I bear Megan Thee Stallion no ought at all. In fact, we have prayed for her on many occasions in our times of prayer. So this monster that Alex Spiro tried to create, and when I stood in the courtroom on that day and heard a corrupt prosecutor dismiss the fact that so many people, it was overwhelming the amount of people that sent letters to their office and were called to testify before the courts as they were considering sentence, which had already been decided. And the judge blatantly showed on that day that it really didn't matter what anybody said. It was supposed to be a forum in which it would be decided based on all the extenuating circumstances, etc. But it had already been decided behind closed doors. It's so funny that there is indeed a woman who has made it her life's mission to be the whip in the press or on the vlogs. I'm not even going to call her name right now, but those who know. Everything that has to do with Tory Lanez, I believe that she is in some way compensated to spread these narratives. And so before the sentence was read in court, she already knew. That's really interesting to me.
Stop right there. Hold on, pause. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I remember the case. I actually covered all of it. It was, the Tory Lane and the Megan Stallion. We watched the video and all the things and how Megan was bleeding. And, remember she was walking and she lied. At first, she said that, I forgot what she said. She broke her foot or it was she stepped on some glass. It was a crazy story. Stepped on some glass or something like that. So she was trying to cover it up at first and all the things. But I'm not sure who. My thing is, I'm not sure who he's referring to. I wonder who that is. Now I'm like, who is that? Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. But now I'm wondering who he's talking about. But let's keep going. Okay.
She already knew because she had discussed it with others, not knowing that it would come back to us. God is my witness. So moving right along, Daystar did not suffer superficial wounds. He was stabbed 14 times, 5 times in his back, 1 under his left cheekbone. In fact, his jaw was open. He was stabbed twice in the back of his head and the rest in his torso, arms, and in his chest. It may seem sensational, but thankfully, like Dr. King, it was close to his heart, but did not penetrate. After that, he was being rushed to a facility nearby in a vehicle in which he said, and I quote, "Dad, I thought it was my last. And having made my peace with God, I said, okay, God, is this how it's supposed to end for me?" But God said no. God told him, "Do not give up." In the car, upon which he turned to the attending officers and he said, "You must get me to wherever is the closest place that I can get to. I'm bleeding out here." He didn't even know his lungs had collapsed. All he knows is that he couldn't breathe. He could hardly speak. Upon which the officer turned around and looked at him and said, "Nah, we got to take him. He has to be airlifted." And thankfully, to God be the glory, he was airlifted. I want to report to you that I am very thankful to all of the attending nurses, doctors in that facility. They have done an amazing job in their professional capacity.
So stop right there. Pause. Here's the thing. I read this and I actually kind of touched on it about him being stabbed, but until his dad just shared all the details and all the things Tori was sharing, he shared with his dad about how he felt, during the whole incident and all the things. Yeah, now it really, really does sound more like, oh my goodness, right? Like, it's a blessing that he is here. I didn't mean to take it this route, but it's a blessing that he's here. Like, thank God he's here for real. Like, I didn't know he got stabbed in the back of the head. That's crazy. And almost hit him in the heart. Like, it is definitely an angel was looking out for him. Because he definitely, and if you looked at the way that happened, um, yeah, he was almost up out of here. So it does clearly say that prayer does work, in my opinion. Okay, moving on.
I would also like to publicly say thank you to the COs, the correctional officers that we have seen around him. In fact, these guys have been nothing but kind to him. The system is one thing, but guess what? There are people who work in the system, and some of them still have hearts. Some of them still have a conscience. So as I'm winding down today, I would like to report to all of you who care about Daystar Peterson, the artist Tory Lanez, around the world. The reports in the hospital is that he is doing remarkably well. I was told yesterday, because they had already taken out the tubes that were draining the fluids from his lungs, they had already taken them out by the time my wife and I got there. And I was told by the nurse, in his particular condition, normally he would have, they would have had to leave those tubes in at least a couple more days. But yesterday they took him out because they said he is recovering remarkably. All that is left is for the healing of the wounds. So thank you for all the prayers that have gone up sincerely on behalf of Daystar and my family. We are truly grateful. But this is not over. So I'm reaching out to every prayer warrior around the world who knows what Christ stands for. Please continue to stand with us. As I stated before, Daystar was not drunk on that morning. It was 6:30 in the morning. It was nothing like that. It was an unprovoked attack. I don't want to go into the details of how it went, although I know them, because it is too gory to be describing right now. And so as I close today, whatever has been needed to be said has been said. So as I close, I want to quote you David, the king of Israel, who said, "You lead me beside still waters and you restore my soul. You lead me in the path of righteousness for your name's sake. And even if I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." One of the officers turned to me yesterday and he said, "You would be so proud of your boy. He has been in here and he has been praying." I got there to the hospital the first day, and typical Daystar, he was entertaining those officers. They were laughing. They were just, and he said, "Dad, it only hurts to laugh." But something broke my heart yesterday when towards the end of our visit, he said, "Dad, why is it that my life has to go through so many trials? Why? Why do I have to experience this?" And that's the note that I want to close on, to tell you that this person they've been trying to paint as a monster, that they were so scared when all of those testimonies came in. People I did not even know that he had secretly done things for. This is a guy, he would do things and not even tell anybody. And one young lady called me and said, "I was struggling. I was diagnosed bipolar. I was struggling. My children," said, "Your son offered to pay my rent for 1 year while I could recover." The prosecution at the trial, when all of those testimonies came in and said, "Oh my God, you think that we were here to hand out the Nobel Peace Prize?" And that's how he dismissed it. But as I sat on the court steps that day, God records all of it. And I know that my son will have justice. I lastly would like to reach out via this medium to say to the governor of the state of California, "Sir, it is in your hand to do something about this. You have the power and the means to examine the evidence that has been presented even to the courts. This is a travesty of justice. And to allow my son to go back into that same situation, a kid that when he went to prison, one of the things he has done so far is through his music to open up the cases of over 467 people through his Hands of God project to help families who can't even pay for justice on behalf of their loved ones. There was a post showed up on YouTube recently, a young man saying, I'd like to thank Tory Lanez. I would like to thank Unite the People. I'd like to thank all of them for allowing me to be able to be taken off of 4 life sentences. 4. I'm sorry? Plus, like, I don't even understand that kind of math. How do you say to a human being whose lifespan is 70, 80, plus 74 years, 4 life sentences plus 74. This is who Daystar is, not what they've tried to make you think he is. He never stops seeking to help people, even from behind the prison walls. Governor Newsom, you have the power to bring my son home, and for all of the reasons that went before I even ascended this podium. Sir, you are a family man. You also have children. Please take a moment and look at your child and ask yourself what you would be doing if the evidence was so overwhelming. Would you think that this man should be free because he's innocent? I hope you do. And I hope you do what you need to do. God bless you all. Thank you so much for being patient with me.
So yes, that was Tori's dad. And I can't even think of his actual name because I'm stuck on Datestar. But that name's is it Sunstar? But no, anyway, Tori's real name is Daystar, but that's interesting. And he actually went into why he named him Daystar, so I thought it was noteworthy for sharing. But that was interesting, and yeah, so that gave us a little bit of kind of what happened, the Tory and what's going on. And basically, this is just a petition. They're petitioning the governor to free him, and basically saying he didn't get justice, and they want him to get justice. And so this is just an opportunity to plea to have him released. That's what this was about. I'm gonna go into a little bit further. Okay, so just a second. I'm gonna go into a little bit more. So just a moment here. Okay, second here. All righty. Okay, just a second. So yeah, this is just we're gonna skip over through, kind of already touched on Chris, so we're gonna move on over and continue speaking about Tori. Okay. So yeah. Um yeah, so let's get into this. Mr. Tory Lanez. So basically, just a little bit of background, even though his dad shared a lot of what he shared. Tory was sentenced for 10 years back in 2020 for the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. And so his dad was basically petitioning to get him out. That's what that was about. And um, let's see, I wanted to share some things. So the thing about it is, it's not just the fact that he did this, he petitioned right after, Tory was stabbed. So that's the significance. He came out and he decided to do this or come out like right after Tory was stabbed, which I mean, as a parent, I don't blame him at all. But I would definitely want to get mine out too. So this is not, I don't think this is irrational or out of order, especially if he really believes that he's innocent and he didn't get a fair shake. I would hope that someone will come to his thing. But another thing is, a new claim was reported about Miss Kelsey, right? And if you don't know, Kelsey was Megan's bestie, right? She's Megan's bestie, and um, apparently or allegedly, the statements from Kelsey Harris, former bodyguard, claiming he overheard Harris admitting to shooting Megan the Stallion. And you know what? So the thing about that allegation or whatever is that that kind of was like floating around in the air when all this was going on, this whole thing, the whole thing. We all questioned, was it Kelsey, right? Everyone suspect I mean not everyone, but it was definitely suspected that Kelsey had something to do with it. And after watching and listening and all of the things, it is weird. Like I never quite understood how, at the end of the day, how was Tory charged? There's just so many things. But anyway, the gist of it is she was accused of actually doing it, and they're saying allegedly that she actually shot Megan in the foot. And I hate to say it, it's just a speculation. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm starting to believe that it's a possibility that she did do it, and Tori just basically took the grunt for her, right? I don't think by choice, right? But the one thing about it is, so Megan's legal team came back and filed in court. So Megan's team came back. The Stallions legal team dismissed this like ASAP. Like as soon as it came out, they dismissed it, saying it was a distraction from the truth. So it wasn't really addressed. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are. But so I don't know. The guess the gist of it all. Will he get out? I don't know. Um, but who knows? 2025 has been a real different year. So who knows what could happen, right? Who knows? But it goes back to my question at the beginning of the live, and the um whole thing about this live is, can you separate the man from the music? And I would say in this case, probably not. And the reason I say that is just because even though he wrote, he's been writing music while he's in there, the fact that he's already tainted, he's already doing time. I just don't think it's gonna. I think his career is. I think it's done. Okay, and not because I'm saying it because I want it to be done. I just think that from everything that's happened and all the things that's going on, I don't think he'll be able to get away from this. And it's so crazy because we looked at Chris Brown, yet he's still running around and he's doing tours and everything. And Chris is popping. But he's so we're able to separate the man from his issues or his the man from his music, excuse me, man from his music. But in Tories, I would say no. I would say no. I don't think we can at this point. And I think it just depends on how far they're into whatever they're into. Like in for this example, he was actually prosecuted and put in jail. So he's obviously in deep. So and he's sentenced, right? So these developments highlight ongoing legal challenges and public debates surrounding high profile figures in the music industry. As new information emerges, like essential to approach these topics with a critical eye, right? But anyway, it just goes back to the same thing I was saying. So yeah. So that's my gist on that. And yeah, so you let me know what you think down in the comment section about separating the man from the music. Can you do that? And like I said, I think I kind of used R. Kelly as an example. In his case, it was a no because it went too far. For right now, Chris Brown, I would say yes, but then we look at Tory Lanez, and unfortunately, I think we're over it. We're past the point of no, we can't separate it. And again, he is making music. He just made something, I think, like in April. He published some music or whatever, which is pretty cool. Um, but I don't think he's going to ever to actually be able to recover his career. And I could be wrong. These are just speculations, right? Just from reviewing and listening to all the different reports. I could be wrong and he could come out and blow up, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, yes. So that's we're gonna go back to kind of vibing and chilling for a few more minutes and then wrap it up. If you have any questions or anything you want to chat about, be sure to drop it down in the chat. Or if you're watching the replay, be sure to like the video and share anything you might want to talk about. Or yeah. Anyway, I'll be right back. And again, this is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. I'll be right back. Thank you for listening. Yeah, so just a second, go get some music going for a little bit. All right. Okie dokie. Here we go. Oh yes, that's so yeah, so we've already discussed the two segments we're gonna talk about. Um that would be um Tory Lanez and Chris Brown, which are one of my favorite artists. Okay. And yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in him right now. But I feel like he's gonna recover. Well, I hope he does. I hope he recovers, right? But anyway, that's pretty much the gist of it all. And so let me know what you think in the comment section. I have yet to touch P. Diddy because there is so much. And I actually been watching and all the different reports and there's so much to cover and maybe I will give a highlights some of the points later. But there's so much out there and so many bloggers and channels covering it. It's like crazy. But right now I can say as today, if you want to go who's winning, who's losing, I would say right now sounds like maybe P. Diddy's winning today. I feel like um the state or not the state, but the feds were winning the day before, but now I think the defense, as in P. Diddy and his team, possibly had a win today. So they're kind of going back and forth. And I'm not gonna stay on this long at all because I didn't want to cover it right now. But I will say that all the things that Cassie shared, they were just crazy. And then her husband was in the room and all the stuff that she shared. And so the fact that she said she liked the freak offs and all that kind of stuff, I think that I think that may have helped P. Diddy's case a little bit. I think it may have helped him a little, but we'll see how this goes. There's so much. I mean, we got witness number 3 that disappeared, has yet to appear. And I don't think they're coming. I don't think they're coming. But we're gonna see. But I think the feds have like a 98%, uh, victory rate or whatever. So this is gonna be real interesting. And I'm gonna say from just watching a little bit I've seen, I don't think they're gonna be able to get everything or charge him with everything. I think they'll figure out to get something to stick. But as far as the racketeering, I don't see how they're gonna do that. I just don't see how they're gonna make this all stick. And anyway, and the other part about it is, when I speak on Cassie, I'm not saying that I don't feel a way about the way he treated her, but I'm not gonna lie, the 10 years, and I'm not a victim, so I don't know how that works. But 10 years is a long time to stay with someone abusing you and misusing you, and I don't know what to say about that. I know people are calling her a gold digger, and then they got to looking at her past and this, that, and the third. And clearly she dated older men prior to P. Diddy. He wasn't the first and he wasn't the last. So it's just so much. And then she turned around and she sued him, which I mean, I'm not mad about that. Get your money, girl. But then, because her current husband allegedly doesn't have a job. So there's so much going on and so many moving pieces in this. It's gonna be a long case. It's gonna be, I think we got like, I think they said 6 weeks or so. It might be longer than that. It's gonna be a long case. And so, yeah, it's just gonna be really interesting. But Cassie, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how her being a witness is gonna stand, just because so it sounds like she participated and she enjoyed some things. That doesn't make it right. I'm not saying he didn't do things to Cassie, because we clearly saw him on that video. We saw him. Everyone saw him in the hotel, you know, putting his hands on her and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not condoning any of that. I'm just saying, as far as making her stay, I don't know about that part. I don't get that. I don't. It sounds like they were just both addicts. Is what it sounds like to me, and they like the lifestyle. That's what it sounds like. But anyway, I'm not gonna stay on P. Diddy long, because I'll get going, and I may come back and do some highlights on that. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you for listening. And again, this is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye bye.
Win again and win again and win again. I ain't taking minimums, my destiny was written in. Coming with a different scent, coming with a different stench. Smelling like greatness and I spray it every day, that's the latest. The world been moving crazy all around me. I was hiding in my feelings, then you found me. I'm just too aware of my surroundings. Looking at the blessings I've been counting. The world been moving crazy all around me. I was hiding in my feelings, then you found me. I'm just too aware of my surroundings. I've been looking at the blessings I've been counting. Look, I've been counting my blessings, but still stuck in my thoughts. Here I go, stuck in my head again. Daily I've been looking for some peace. Well, what you recommend? Have a couple drinks, go to sleep, then reset again. That's everything I'm better than, but everything I'm used to. Sticking to the basics got me looking for a new glue, looking for a new crew, looking for a new outlet that doesn't sacrifice my self-respect. I don't know all the steps that I'm taking, still walking through it. Hope I find a shawty that really listens and talk me through it. Oftentimes we end up smashing in love and lust. They asking for my heart, don't give it, it's hard to trust. Consider that a plus, and minus the complications. Feel like everyone's the same, internet and mutations. While all the weak get the highest of the praises. Man, it's messing with my patience. The world been moving crazy all around me. I was hiding in my feelings, then you found me. I'm just too aware of my surroundings. Looking at the blessings I've been counting. The world been moving crazy all around me. I was hiding in my feelings, then you found me. I'm just too aware of my surroundings. I've been looking at the blessings I've been counting.
Again, thank you for listening to Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. It's been an absolute pleasure. Be sure to like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And please, I would love to hear from you. So let me know what you think about these topics or anything we discuss, anything you want to discuss. And I'll be happy to possibly discuss those things. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you for chilling and vibing with T. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye bye.
Ha ha ha.